But in his young life, when he got married, he was only 25 and he only had one wife for the next 27 years. But when he established a state and there were many widows, he would encourage the companions that no, none of these widows should be left alone, they should be provided for. So you get married to all of these widows or any of these people, women who are divorcees. Many times he would marry many of those widows, or the men who died in there. So at the age of 53 or onwards, he had more than one wife, and that was once his first wife died and he had migrated. So that was the one exception. So when he was married to the first wife, he did not have any other wives.
If I'm not wrong, Quran does talk about you won't be able to justice.
That's why only one.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
So the Holy Quran does say, it starts off with 2, 3 or 4, and then it says, and if you cannot do justice, and gives the rulings, and then it says only one.
Exactly.
For wahida. Yes.
If someone doesn't want to have one long-term relationship, for the whole life, is there anything they can do? Does Islam cater that?
They want to not live with the same husband, or they do not wish
for
to
the
live.
rest of their life, throughout their life, they don't want to stay. They just want to, of course,
Don't
live
short-term
together, but not for the.
They do not wish to get married, or they do wish to get married.
They do wish to get married, but not for the.
Yes. Okay. Now there are these exceptions. The Holy Prophet himself in his lifetime allowed that there will be 2 types of marriages. You will have a temporary marriage, and you can have a termination, or you can have a divorce. But it is in the permissible acts, the most hated act is divorce. The Holy Prophet says the most hated permissible act is divorce. Bless you. So it is highly discouraged in Islam to get divorced. It does encourage for people to actually get married for a lifetime. So when you do choose a partner, it is for a lifetime. You should get married with the intent of getting married to that partner for a lifetime. Islam allows it, but there are 3 things that the companions of the Holy Prophet say that he emphasized on 3 things, so much so that we were thinking that now he's going to give a next ruling onto it. Divorce. He spoke so much against it, the Holy Prophet spoke so much against the divorce that people were thinking that now he's going to say it's forbidden. But he didn't. He says it's still permitted, but he spoke against it very highly. And the second thing was the neighbors, the rights of neighbors. He spoke so much on it that people are thinking that now he's going to say that they'll inherit your parents as well. And the third thing that he emphasized so much was on the cleaning of the teeth, the brushing of the teeth. The people are thinking that he's emphasizing so much on it that now the next ruling will be that you just break all your teeth and throw them out. And how can you keep your teeth so much clean? All the time before every prayer, clean your teeth, clean. Why does he emphasize so much on brushing your teeth? Cleaning your mouth, cleaning your teeth. So he had, these 3 things he emphasized a lot, and he says you pay attention more in your prayers and your supplications once your mouth is clean and you're satisfied at home. Islam encourages a long-term relationship, but there is a way of saying that you can get engaged or a temporary marriage, which has a limitation and divorce. Otherwise, divorce in itself is discouraged, highly discouraged.
Can you throw some light on the rights of women as wives and obligation of men towards their wives in Islam?
Okay, certain things it becomes difficult to say. I'm not used to I'll try and say some of the things. Now, providing the winter and summer clothes for wives every year. Food, shelter. So their needs, their physical needs. Once every fortnight they must sleep with them, and once every few months, the physical relationship. So these are all obligations. There's a whole list. If you go to the books in the books of fiqh of the jurisprudence, you'll pick up the chapter of the marriage, and the rights will be mentioned there. So there's a whole list. So these are all the things that you have to provide for.
That's right.
Yeah. Some things I probably cannot go into. Any other questions? Yes.
Coming back to the point of veiling of women in Islam, I'd highly appreciate if you talk about the veiling of men. It's not just the physical veiling, it's about the veiling of eyes and their mind, keeping themselves chaste.
Okay. For both men and women in Islam, there is a dress code.
Yeah.
So it is not just for women, but for also men as well. They cannot, for example, walk without a shirt in the streets. Islam says that is not dignity for humanity. So it is not just for women, but for both men and women there is a dress code. And then there is a veil of eyes and thoughts, and even words and tongue.
Yeah.
And even hearing. You know, it says to the wife of the Holy Prophet, you know, when addressing the wife of the Holy Prophet, it doesn't mean just the wives, it means the women. Many times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say to the Holy Prophet, and he's not just addressing him, he's saying to everyone, but he's saying something harsh, so he says it to him. And he addresses all of us. Do not talk to men with an attractive voice.
With a soft tone.
Yeah, with a soft tone. For the one who has illness in his heart, you know, that's spiritual.
Sickness of heart. Yeah.
Yeah, sickness of heart is a spiritual. It's a metaphorical.
Yeah.
Would be attracted to you. So talking to men in an attractive voice, that's against Islamic law. For men to give a lustful eye to women, again, is forbidden. Even for their thoughts. You know, for example, the Holy Prophet said, Moses said to people, do not do anything forbidden. And Jesus said, do not even think of forbidden things. Because thinking of them is a preliminary to doing them. So when you think of things, you're just basically planning them and then you carry them out.
Then you're partly sinned.
Yeah. Well, in Islam, the Holy Prophet says, you will not be regarded as a sinner when you're thinking of them. But it is not good because then you will be carrying them out. They become practical, so you do not think. Try and control your emotions and your thoughts. So, of listening to certain tones, you know, for men, and seeing and making an eye contact, and certain how you talk and how you perceive the opposite gender and how you approach them. These are all very important for both men and women. So, there are rules on that, very strict rules for both men and women. In how they talk and touch, and so it should not be very close touch to each other. And if there is a touch, then the body should not be, the skin should not be touching the other person's skin. If they're not related to you, only your blood relatives you're allowed to touch. For example, the close relatives that you will not be, God forbid, you'll not be sexually attracted to, like mothers, daughters, and wives, for example, that you're married to. But the others you're not supposed to, for example, become into physical contact, not a too close contact. So there are all of these rulings.
Yeah.
So it is not just a veil of, it is not just the cover of the body, it is the whole system that Islam gives. It's not just a physical thing that Islam talks about. It's a whole spiritual side.
It may not be totally relevant to the lecture's topic, but how about slavery in Islam? I understand that the Prophet had certain slaves, and I understand that there are certain verses in the Quran that discourage or encourage freeing slaves. How does that work?
I'll briefly talk about it, but it's a topic on its own.
Yeah.